So James Gunn Superman review leaks online and it left DCU fans shocked and possibly even triggered. Okay, so the James Gunn version of Superman is already getting torched and it hasn't even hit theaters right now. Now there was a review leaked on online for James Gunn version that's dropped and stuff, as you all can see here from Cosmic News. Comic book news, woo, tongue twister, okay? And it dropped early and the internet isn't letting it go, okay? So apparently there's images of the Daily Beast accidentally broke the embargo and posted a scathing review that called James Gunn's Superman the final nail in the superhero coffin, basically. That's what it says right there. Pause it if you want to read this, okay? So, yeah, that's not hyperbole at all. That's the actual headline, okay? And that also tells you where this is going, okay? So, James Gunn can't simply hide behind the critics forever, okay? And Superman might not survive this one. You see, it seems to me that they yanked the review down fast, but screenshots are all over social media right now. And the fans are already bracing for this disaster. Okay, so before we continue, go ahead and just drop a like down below. Description in the description, I have the link for the Discord server. Go ahead and join that. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. So this particular review slams James Gunn harder than anything that we've seen out of the early DCU previews. And no, it's not just a case of Snyder fanboys and stuff out there, or any fanboys out there winning. This is just mainstream media nuking the first real entry in James Gunn's new DC universe, and the damage is already done. I guess it may go ahead and change up later, okay, but they called Superman a chaotic mess, overstuffed, shallow, superficial, the exact words that we've heard with, Justice League and stuff. Only now James Gunn owns it, and it doesn't matter how many cutesy jokes he tries to cram in, the tone's a mess. The plot's all over the place, according to them. Superman is flying straight into a wall, and James Gunn is the one flying the plane itself. Okay, so they said that the movie introduces too many half-baked characters, with Maxwell Lord, Mr. Terrific, Supergirl, all dumped into the movie like a crowded convention panel instead of a story with weight. Okay, now the review makes it clear none of them matter because, well, none of them have real development. Okay, so James Gunn's Superman might be the star of the show, but honestly, he's buried under a dozen side characters who are there for cameos, checklists, and future spinoffs. I mean, that's what this new DCU is about, apparently. Setup, not story. James Gunn is sacrificing Superman to force feed the next 10 years of brand building, okay? Now, honestly, even with the return of John Williams' theme and stuff, the critics also say that the film feels emotionally hollow. You would think that James Gunn would at least give Superman something to stand for, but instead it's just spectacle. I mean, punches, CGI, and slapstick comedy with a super dog Krypto. The jokes that work in Guardians of the Galaxy fall flat here, according to them. Krypto might get a chuckle, but the tone doesn't really land. And when critics are saying that, I mean, honestly, it's not just comic book purists complaining, it's people who are paid to like these movies, okay, the shills. And James Gunn missed the mark so badly, according to them, that they couldn't even pretend. All right, these are not my words that's coming from this. This is apparently where it says it there, but then there's also the plot where they're talking about, okay, if you can, well, they're claiming, if you can call it that. The Superman review says that the movie's structure is a mess. They toss the Man of Steel into an interdimensional prison, team up with Metamorpho, and then throw in a giant baby with a massive head. That's not a joke. James Gunn wrote that. That's what Superman is doing in this movie, and it doesn't feel like a clever twist. It feels like desperation. You see, he's using Superman to live out a weird Saturday morning fever dream, and nobody's buying it. I mean, these are what's being reported before. Now, David Corenswet deserves better, also, but even the review admits that he's a lightweight, charming, but forgettable. Okay. You see, he's not Christopher Reeve. He's not Henry Cavill. And the constant, CGI overload doesn't help either. You see, there's no weight to anything, no grit, no soul, and certainly no presence. Now, James Gunn promised to give us the definitive Superman, but what we're getting is a kid in a cape who says, dude, and save squirrels. Okay. Now, that's not Superman. You see, that's a parody of the character. Something that you'd expect from SNL, not a $225 million tentpole, basically. Okay, so basically the tonal whiplash is brutal also. One moment, the movie feels like it wants Zack Snyder fans back, and then the next, it's bouncing around like a Looney Tunes short. I mean, that's the kind of flip-flopping that might work in a comedy, but not in a Superman film that's supposed to actually launch like a cinematic universe. Okay, so this is what also the reports are saying too, that the James Gunn can't decide if this is a serious story or a joke. So the audience doesn't know either, and it's exhausting. And this is the guy who's supposed to build the foundation of DC's future, and he can't even commit to a tone. Okay. But what's worse from this reviews and stuff is the Superman review says that the character's core has been gutted. You see, he's no longer the noble protector, okay? He's not the hopeful idealist. You see, James Gunn turned Superman into a casual bro who shrugs his way through disasters and makes sarcastic quips. Now, the entire idea of Superman as a Christ-like figure is gone, and that archetype might have been heavy-handed in the Snyder days, but I mean, it had weight and stuff. But James Gunn's Superman is a YouTube prankster, basically, with a cape, and that's supposed to inspire audiences. I mean, that's what these reports that were leaked out are basically saying. But this doesn't hurt Superman, it hurts the whole DCU apparently. If James Gunn can deliver on Superman, the rest of his plan falls apart. He's betting everything on this movie being the launch pad for a full reboot. But nobody wants to rebuild a universe on sand. You need a rock-solid Superman at the center, and you need something that fans believe in, okay? And right now, they're seeing a big clown show. You see, this review didn't just pan the movie. It exposed a weak foundation underneath everything James Gunn is trying to build, okay? And honestly, I don't blame James Gunn for this, okay? I blame Warner Brothers because they're the ones who can never get a superhero movie right at this point. And honestly, they're the ones that also hired Gunn in the first place, okay? And honestly, before the shields actually jump in, no, it's not just one bad review. This is the Daily Beast. Not exactly some random blog, okay? And it got taken down because Warner Brothers is scared. They didn't want this out there before the marketing machine kicked in, okay? So, yeah, James Gunn knows how fragile this Superman launch is. You see, he knows how split the fandom is. He knows half of them still want Cavill back, and this kind of reaction early on, I mean, it's enough to go ahead and shatter the illusion of momentum before opening night, okay? So honestly, I mean, that's probably why they yanked it. That's why James Gunn is not saying a word, because he knows the backlash is real, okay? So he's counting on nostalgia, press junkets, and YouTube hype to go ahead and carry him through. But the second that curtain gets pulled back and people see what's really in this movie, it's game over. You know, Superman won't get a second chance, and James Gunn can't afford another misfire. I mean, he already lost the Snyder crowd, as you all know. If he loses the normies too, the DCU's dead before it even starts, okay? And there's also a lot of talk about genre fatigue, but this review makes it clear. It's not the genre itself, it's the execution. Superman still matters, but not like this. Not as a sidekick in his own story, not as a laid-back goofball surrounded by B-list cameos. You see, James Gunn had a chance to remind people why Superman is the greatest hero ever created if these reviews are true. But instead, he turned him into a mascot for corporate rebranding, and people feel it. That's why this review blew up, because fans can tell when they're being sold something hollow, okay? So this was supposed to be, you know, James Gunn's fresh start, his big opportunity to go ahead and prove that he could lead a franchise bigger than Guardians. But now Superman is getting trashed before it even premieres, okay? And honestly, that's not just a red flag, that's a siren right there. And if more early reviews drop with this kind of reaction, no amount of popcorn buckets or even tie-in comics is going to save it, okay? You can't fake heart, you can't market your way out of a soulless product, okay? So James Gunn made a Superman movie for Twitter memes, not for people who care about the character itself, okay? And you know what? Here's the sad part. There are good pieces in this film. Corn Sweat clearly tried. The visuals pop. You know, some of the supporting cast probably bring something to the table, but none of that matters if the core itself is broken. Now, Superman isn't just another hero. You know, he's the blueprint. And if James Gunn, can't make him work, then it says a lot about the future of the DCU, especially since he's writing, directing, and overseeing the entire thing. I mean, this was supposed to be his mission statement, okay? But instead, it's looking like a warning sign at this point. Now, the Hollywood elites out there are probably thrilled that fans are too busy fighting over Snyder versus Gunn to notice what's actually being served. But while fans argue about continuity and costume colors and design, the actual content is rotting, okay? And when Superman reviews are calling it, you know, a Saturday morning cartoon on drugs, I mean, that's not nitpicking at all. That's a genuine rejection of the tone and direction that James Gunn is pushing. He's trying to convince everyone distracted with cameos and nostalgia, but it's not working anymore. You see, this review, if it's true, it didn't leak by accident. Somebody wanted it out. Somebody inside saw the mess and said, nope, I'm not letting this slide. That tells you everything that you need to know about the state of the James Gunn DCU and Superman. Now, even insiders are losing confidence, apparently, and the fact that Warner Brothers scrambled to cover it up, I mean, that simply confirms how fragile this whole operation really is. Superman isn't bulletproof right now under James Gunn. If this flops, he is in trouble. And James Gunn will possibly run out of excuses to put out there, okay? So let me know your thoughts on this in comments below. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the bell notifications for future uploads notifications. If you enjoy what we're sharing this video, smash that like button. And I'll see you all next one. Until then, peace.